Hi, I'm Veronica, a somatic teacher and therapist. And today I would like to show you a few very simple moves which can release tension from the pelvic area, from the hip girdle and the shoulder girdle. And you don't really need much props. The only thing you will need is, if you have one, you could use a yoga block. And if you don't have one, it doesn't matter. You can use really big hardcover book or some sturdy box, for example, metal box, something that could take the weight of your body. So let's begin with the shoulder girdle. You could do it a couple of ways, but the easiest one would be to first draw a line with your arm, moving forward and backward. And then set your arm in motion. So you want to let it move, but with the momentum. So it's not your arm muscles working hard to make this movement, to tense up, to lift and to reach, to go back. Nothing like that. The arm is empty, loose, and it just goes with the momentum. And that's it. It's a swing. So you keep on swinging. It just happens on its own. There's nothing else to do. The rest of the body is relaxed as well. You go with the momentum. That's it. Very simple. And eventually, you can relax that one. Give yourself a little moment to compare right and left. And then try the same on the other side. So first draw that straight line, because that's how you want it to go. And eventually, it's like you set it in motion. And then with the laws of physics, it's going to swing on its own. So very little effort, if any. You just let it swing. Let it swing, let it swing. You're not having any rigidness in the joints. That means that your fingers and the wrists and the elbow are all loose. And the same goes for the whole arm. And keep on swinging. And after a while, you can let it release. Again, a little bit of a break to check how are the shoulders. And then let's do something similar for the hips. So this time you're going to need your block, box, or a book. And actually, I didn't mention it before, but you want to be somewhere near something you can support yourself against. So it might be a chair, it could be any furniture, it could be a wall, doesn't matter, wardrobe, whatever it is, somewhere where you can place your hands so that you don't lose balance. And then you're gonna be with one leg really close, with that standing leg is closer to the wall, and that other leg is free. And the only thing to keep in mind is that when you have your legs with one on the support and the other one hanging, you don't want that hip to drop down. So you want basically both hip bones to be at the same level. This is the only thing, this is the only part that's going to be engaged. The leg will be completely loose. Okay, so get that support. And imagine that your leg doesn't start in the hip, that it starts somewhere from your solar plexus, from the area just below your ribs. And it's the same idea, that it's a pendulum movement. So it starts that somebody or something set it in motion, and then it just swings on its own. So there's no tension, no muscular engagement, no gripping in the buttock or in the side. The leg just swings. The leg just swings. The rest of the body doesn't help, so you're not swinging with your whole body. The upper body stays in the same position. Your head is above the pelvis, and only the leg swings. But you can keep in mind as if that movement was starting from just below the rib cage, from the solar plexus. Loose swing, forward, backward, bam, 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 bam. And again, you could relax it at some point, step down to compare. There probably will be some difference in the sensation on one side of the pelvis, on the other side of the pelvis. And then the only thing you need to do is to swap the sides. So again, you're standing on your support with the leg that is closer to the chair or wall or whatever you're holding on to. The hips are at the same level. That leg is relaxed and the movement starts from the solar plexus. And you start a swing, swinging forward and backward. Upper body stays stable. The movement starts from below the ribs. Leg relaxed and you swing. So the foot is relaxed, the knee is relaxed, and the leg swings. At some point it slows down and you can land and feel. Okay, so that already makes a difference. And maybe if you're in an office, you might do just something like this. And if you have an opportunity to lie down, I can show you another few moves. So make your way down, and then we're going to begin in the position when you have your knees bent and feet on the mat. And then you're going to lift the leg. And again, instead of trying to reach somewhere or keep that leg rigidly, it's quite relaxed. You could even take some time to kind of invite the weight of the leg sink deep into your hip joint. And then you're going to create a movement as if somebody was holding by the leg and shaking it in the air, as if your leg was kind of detached, someone was holding you by the heel and it was shaking that leg in the air. So to first find that movement, it might be easier to create a tiny bit, not too much, of engagement in your foot. So you very lightly flex the foot and imagine that you're kind of pushing bouncing with the heel on the ceiling. But the rest of the leg stays relaxed. And what you really want to see is that there is this kind of jelly shaking happening in your calf and in your thigh. And that this movement reverberates and it reaches to your hip, to all that one side of the pelvis, maybe even you feel it on that one side of the belly. And once you get a hold of it, so you know it's not kind of rigid thing, but really here everything stays loose, then you can let go of the foot as well. So the foot and the ankle is free as well, and that leg shakes. Of course, it might feel like a little bit of effort because the movement is fast, but the point is that the leg stays relaxed, that you really feel that kind of floppy, shaky, jelly-like movement in your whole leg, and that you feel it's reaching to your pelvis. Okay, and then you can bend that leg and let that leg kind of drop on its own with its weight towards you. You might want to swing the lower leg a couple of times, right and left. So swing it loose, that's a slightly different direction. And then you can place the hands somewhere comfortably below the knee, or even on the knee itself. You could actually place it on the knee itself. And decide whether you want to have the other leg bent or straight. Sometimes if it's straight, it kind of feels a little bit too much, so you can choose. And use your arms for creating this kind of shaking movement with the knee. So the knee moves forward, backward, and your arms do this movement. So it's not your leg doing it. The leg is relaxed, and your arms do it for you. And you might feel again a lot of things happening with this one. A little bit of movement in the pelvis. It's kind of a little bit of a rocking movement. Keep on going. And then very slowly land that foot on the mat. And notice how does that right side of the pelvis compare to the left. And actually, it would be useful if you had checked it in the beginning, but maybe you feel that the leg you worked on, the hip bone kind of sunk lower. It's lower, it doesn't stick so much. It's kind of heavier, more spread out, and lower in comparison to the other. So you could easily check whether it's gonna be the same on the other side. Lift that leg, maybe first do a little bit of engagement as if you're bouncing your heel on the ceiling, but already checking that there is this jelly-like shaking happening. So if it's shaking like jelly, you know that the muscles are not engaged, they're not tense up, and then eventually you could let go of the foot as well. So the whole leg kind of shakes in the air as if somebody was holding it by the foot and shaking it from above. It's a nice kind of visualization you could use. Shake, 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 shake. That kind of travels towards your pelvis, that side of the pelvis. And then you can bend that leg, the other leg straight or bent, have the hands on the knee, and do a little bit of shaking, this time with the whole leg in a slightly different position, so it's not straight anymore. No, this one's bent, it's like in and away, or forward and backward, however you want to think of this movement. That leg releases too. You could also add the movement when you swing the lower leg right and left, right and left, right and left. And after those 3 movements, land with the foot. And how are those hip bones now? Have they settled more? Are they more even? How is the pelvis resting now on the ground? So this is the magic for the lower body, for the pelvis, for the hip joints. And then similar thing for the arm. So you could let the arm float. It's relaxed. The wrist is relaxed. The elbow is slightly bent. And you're giving the weight of that arm into the shoulder joint. And then it's a moment of shaking. So you're shaking that arm as if somebody was really shaking the hands with you, but it's really overdoing it, like on the cartoon. You can shake, 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 shake. And then you can imagine that somebody pulls you by some ropes attached to your fingertips, which lifts your shoulder blade off the mat, and then you let that shoulder blade spread wide. Let your upper arm length, lower arm length, and release that. And maybe you feel some difference between where is the front of the shoulder on one side and when is the front of the shoulder on the other side. So it might be that one side feels higher, yeah? And then the same on the other side. Give the weight of the arm, keep it loose, and then shake it when it's loose. So again, it's more you're imagining that somebody does that shaking for you rather than you doing the shaking. There's the same kind of floppy, jelly feeling that you have in that arm as you had in the leg before. And you could even add the other arm And here you could have that feeling as if you were shaking someone, hey, wake up, or shaking a jar of something that you want to really mix some liquids well together. And then there's that feeling somebody was pulling you by the fingertips, so the shoulder blades lift, and then you gradually spread them wide, 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 shoulder blades, upper arms, lower arms. And again, notice where your shoulders, where's the front of the shoulders on both sides? How is the sensation across the shoulders and across the pelvis? Observe, enjoy. And it really doesn't take so long, but it makes a difference. So a very nice little quick self-help. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you'd like to know more about how you can find the release of the holding patterns that are very often connected with stress and with your emotional tension, I encourage you to sign up for my newsletter with kindness. And there's a link in the description below. And we'll see you next Monday here in the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.